My heart is always in the right place. Now I got my head in the right space.
Time to use the power of my voice. Toast to magnify with my folks. Everybody rejoice. Everybody rejoice.
Welcome to Vino Rhyme. We are doing a wine pairing and album listening party for Glory, the new project by Tracey Lee, entirely produced by my man O-Jiz. It's a situation, man. This album is super dope, and it's not just because I know these brothers. I'm telling you, it's because it's a dope album, but you're about to find out for yourself. I go by the name of DJ Feeling It, a.k.a. Kev. That's my government. You can use it if you want. My man in the background on the 1 and 2s is Dr. Deep Crates B. Hey, man, we've been doing this thing called Vino Rhyme for about 7, 8 years now, and we finally hooked up with my brother Trey. And he's like, hey, man, we had so much fun on the ETU album, Expect the Unexpected, with my man O-Jiz producing it. He's like, man, let's run that back and do it again. Now, you know, you go to a wine tasting or you go to the wine store, you order, you know, back in Philly, they got state stores. In Philly, you got state stores. You got the liquor store down here in D.C. And so you might ask for something and you get all these crazy types of terms like this, like oaked, toasty, opulent, tight, angular. But a lot of times you really don't know what that means. But tonight we're going to break down the terms and use the music to inspire the terms that we're going to try to talk about tonight. Tonight's featured wine, again, all black owned vintners. All black vintners we're dealing with right now. So we got this Alcina, which is a Sauvignon Blanc 2019. We also have a Sparkling Brut Rosé by our sisters, McBride sisters. That's a dope story for sure. We got the Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. It's a red blend by Mason Noir Wines out of Oregon. So we're going to get with it right now. And then the last one, which would be the McBride sisters. But they got a Sparkling Brut Rosé, and that has aromas of like rose petals and strawberries on the nose. And I'll talk about what the nose is a little bit later. It's kind of obvious, but I'll talk about it a little bit later. The wine they say the wine continues to improve with a toasty and peach and raspberry notes as it hits your palate. And it has a long finish. So remember.
Oh, yeah, the long finish. I'm very familiar with the long finish. Very familiar with the long finish.
My wife is on. My wife's on. The long finish.
So we should all be familiar with the long finish.
Very familiar. We're going to talk about the sparkling. We just want to talk about sparkling wines. And the reason why we paired it with Hawke's Bay Sparkling Brut Rosé, that's the McBride sisters wine, is because in the bars you actually reference the word bubble. Yeah, I think you say like burn, boil, and bubble.
Yeah.
And so that just gave me a reason to talk about sparkling wines, to talk about bubbles, which you see with the sparkling wines. And so it's interesting because the McBride sisters, they use the Charmat method, which is a sparkling winemaking method process that traps bubbles in the wine. And that's between like a carbonation of like large steel tanks. And so when the bottle is opened, that's when the carbon dioxide escapes, and it escapes in the form of bubbles. So that's how you get the bubbles when you see, and it's not just sparkling wine that has bubbles, by the way, but more traditionally you'll see like your cavas and your different sparkling wines that have bubbles in it. So I paired it with Glory. And another thing is, I think most people know this, but I don't know if everybody knows this. Trey's a lawyer. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later, too. So the Louisiana bar carrying. I love that line in there. Love that line in there. So I want y'all to give us your reaction to the beat and also some of the insights into the lyrics after we play the song. So everybody raise y'all glass in the air of that sparkling rosé, y'all. Cheers. Glory, right here on Vino Rhyme. Creeps up on you like the alcohol. The beat creeps up on you, just like the alcohol on this joint. It's like you think you cool, and all of a sudden you just get wavy and start swaying.
Now I done traded wits with the best of them. Odds we ignored them. Dreams manifested them. With Billboard recorded. Bend his flows hooks, push the culture forward. We're giving new looks like magic in the form. I write magic in this form. Pen game immaculate, the core of the emporium. Add the legal acumen. I forged a consortium. King moved by an African. His own don't applaud him. What if you was with us in the struggle? In the mud down at Howard, BX bought the muscle. When it was hand to hand, Peter Pan with the duffel. When it got out of hand, Calico with the muffle. The sun was muddled under turmoil and trouble, but I rose from the rubble, now I burn, boiling bubble. When you escape a point blank to the melon, you get praise for those who ain't allowed to tell it. So even when the world don't love me, fam don't support me,
Come on.
eyes conspire,
Come on.
others wanna short me. I realize it's just a part of my story, but I receive it all with open arms while I'm yelling glory. They ain't got nothing for me. No weapon form will destroy me. Come to understand without a testing, there's no testimony. So even if I fall through it all, I'm still yelling glory. Who's the best? I feel invincible. They think with the flesh, I speak with an inner glow. A luminary, yes, but not without the vitriol. Stick to the script, now I'm prepared for a bigger role. The optics of the game be misleading when the owners say I for profit. Clean and slim, let you pose before they crop it. So I clean my lens and through the iris saw the object. Sink or swim, y'all know the rest. Thought I would stop it, did the opposite instead. Bought time, so read all the options and connect. Like my home's out the pocket, not a title chief exec, but I'm seen as a threat. I mean the blatant disrespect. The hatred I become the football like student debt. Yes, when you escape a point blank to the melon, you learn to levitate and stay propellant. So even when the world don't love me, fam don't support me, lies conspire, promoters wanna short me. I realize it's just a part of my story, and I receive it all with open arms while I'm yelling glory. They ain't got nothing for me. No weapon form will destroy me. Come to understand without a testing, there's no testimony. So even if I fall through it all, I'm still yelling glory. Barbarian, hardball clarion, blue chip, shooter from the hip, Sean Marion, lucid, Louisiana bar card carrying, stupid, unconventional, all variant. Tracey Lee, split the trinity, I'ma own it. Cause the fact I made it this far is a Holy Ghost moment. Yeah, when you escape a point blank to the melon, you learn to elevate and keep excelling. So even when the world don't love me, fam don't support me, lies conspire, promoters wanna short me. I realize it's just a part of my story, and I receive it all with open arms while I'm yelling glory. They ain't got nothing for me. No weapon form will destroy me. Come to understand without a testing, there's no testimony. So even if I fall through it all, I'm still yelling glory. Don't love me, fam don't support me, lies conspire, promoters wanna short me. I realize it's just a part of my story, and I receive it all with open arms while I'm yelling glory. They ain't got nothing for me. No weapon form will destroy me. In a state of mind at all times, I gotta give God the glory. But they gon' fuck around and turn me into
Hey man, so we're gonna break down these bars and break down these break down that beat. But I remember we first started talking about this album. The first thing I said, 'cause you know how critical I am. Like it's not even critical. Like you know how like because you know you're the homie too. So it's like I feel like I'm doing you a disservice if I'm just on some like, oh yeah, it's dope. It's a good album. Like that ain't cool. Like we always talk about people like that. They got just yes dudes in their circle and shit. Like,
right.
And so, the first thing I said to you, and my first impression was, and this is even without talking to B, was like, the album is like a plane taking off. And the reason why I asked you about the first song and the way it was put together, because it's so smooth. And it's like the plane taking off, you got a smooth takeoff, and then you hit them clouds, you hit a little bit of turbulence, and it's like, the beat from this joint is a total switch from that first joint. It kind of hits you in the mouth, it's boom back. Really, the next joint is real boom back. But this one's like, it gets you there. And so, Jiz, if you could talk about kind of, since you laid it out in order, kind of talk about the beat selection and how that came together, and Trey, talk about them bars in there, man, and talk about the Louisiana bar carrying.
Yeah, it's definitely boom bap, but at the same time, it's actually R&B, and the reason why I say that is because that's a break beat from a Barry White song. I'm gonna just leave it there.
I already know.
Yeah, you already know. It's a break beat. Yeah. So it's like you got those different elements, and so the thing is like this is another thing of crate digging where you take one element, which is the drum pattern from a Barry White sample, to the next sample being the lead bass line of the song. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's another total mesh, you know, together. You know, so that's what it is, man. Just to make something completely different and just tough, man. It's just something just
Yeah.
real gritty, you know?
Yep. Tough and gritty is a great way to describe that beat. And my first reaction to it, it gave me the mean face. I was just like,
Yeah.
I usually reserve the mean face or pairings for wines that have like like really highly tannic and high tannin. Like they just give you that. Or
Like
highly acidic
that's
vibe.
why I wish like the live venues were open, just for the simple fact you have to hear that on some crazy speakers, bro.
Yeah. Trust doing it on your laptop speakers
Yeah,
on your phone is not
doesn't do
doing
it
you a
justice.
service. Yeah,
It doesn't
not
do
at
it
all.
justice
Not at
at
all.
all. Like you
Yeah.
either gotta have it in the whip or you gotta have it, you know, on some live speakers, dog.
Yeah. So Trey, unpack them bars. What was your favorite bar when you wrote it? And you were just like, oh, that's that shit. Like, I'm gonna get on with this.
Okay, so it's really in the beginning of the second verse. And again, and I'll explain to you why some of this stuff is kind of like I got to play it back for myself. And we'll get into the whole writing aspect of it because I'm still learning it, right? Even though I wrote it, it sounds crazy.
You still learning the lyrics?
Still learning the lyrics.
Wow.
But I'll explain that in a second.
Okay. Yeah. Please.
So I said, y'all know the rest. Thought I would stop it. Did the opposite instead. I said something about something to the effect of basically I'm surveying all my options.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you know, like my home's out the pocket. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
I'm a chief exec.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So when
Yep.
you start talking about, you know, thought I would stop it, did the opposite instead. You know, surveyed all my options,
Yeah.
didn't connect. Like my home's out the pocket. Now the title's chief exec. You know what I'm saying? Now they see me as a threat. So you start talking about my home's out the pocket, surveying options. You know, now I'm the chief exec. See,
Yep.
you got to tie all of that together.
Yep.
Kansas City Chiefs. So
Yep.
so that. And it gets deeper, but that's a part of the complexity of a lot of these bars that I put together. It's
Yeah.
like you got to listen to a few of these joints for many years, about 100 times, and that's just one scheme that I've done throughout the. But I did it throughout the whole album. But that particular line right there, I knew I had to explain that. I knew a lot of people weren't gonna get that. So I think when I put that one together, and there's more in this particular rhyme. But when I put that one together, I was like, woo.
Yeah.
And then it was one before that when I started talking about the optics and cropping out. You know what I'm saying? Cropping, when you start talking about the optics and cropping yourself out, like you do a pose and then the business crops you out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But yet through the iris, you know what I'm saying? So you start talking about the lens of like, it's that kind of, you know what I mean? Like it gets deep.
Yeah.
It gets deep.
Yeah.
But so those two in particular, you know what I mean? But yeah, those are the ones.
That's dopeness. So now we about to go to a different altitude with the album.
Yeah.
It's time for this now.
It's time to have some fun.
Yeah, man. It's funny you said that. Wait a minute. Hey, you hacked my computer?
It's time for this now, boy.
Yo, let me tell you, man. I'll say first and foremost, I like to welcome y'all to what I like to call is the Tracey Lee mental health bars. Like at least for the last two albums, you always have some bar that makes me not have to pay that whatever money I pay to go see a therapist. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but like with No Worries kind of did that. It was like, yo, and that was on ETU, Expect the Unexpected, which was the previous release with OJiz, produced by Jizz. And then even on ESQ, what's the name of the joint? Oh wait, you got the boy singing on
my
it.
shoulder,
Yeah, which it resonated with me because I was having a kid, and I was just like, yo. It was like,
having one too.
We were having one too.
Yeah, it was
Yo.
like having a kid. I was going through some crib shit. Like I was just like, yo, this song is speaking life to me right now. It's mental health bars, but you just don't give us one of these. You give us like a good 3-punch, like at least a 3-4 biscuit meal with this one. So I'm like, all right, bet. So this takes. So think about the juxtaposition between. I just love that's one of my favorite. I try to always find a way to say that word.
Juxtaposition.
Juxtaposition.
You know that's going on the next project, right? That's going on the next project.
Give me a credit. But yeah, like the tone and then the mood of the previous song, just the previous 6 tracks, and then the tone and the mood and the inspiration that is infused in these next 3 to 4 tracks. Starting off with "Saved." I mean, by the title, you got to know it's some shit.
Put a pin in it.
Put a pin.
Put a pin in it.
Oh, word.
I'm circling back.
I'm circling back.
Circling back.
Well, hey, all I'm gonna say is I had to twist and bend an explanation to it because I just wanted to play that shit with this wine to pair with it perfectly. Stage, y'all. Drop it.
Everything begins to crumble all around me.
Oh, kids on the track.
I stand on one thing for sure. As things fall apart, I'm rooted and blessed, and all is intact. See, I'm dodging the odds, roof over my head and shirt on my back. See, I embody a commodity and more, cause living life is quality assured, surrounded by debauchery and gore. Trade was ahead of the curve the day I was born, 2 months premature. See, the things that prayer changes, oh, I marvel at. See, I never would have made it, y'all Marvin said. Can think of worse places to spend the COVID at. They're confined to the confines of a cul-de-sac. The O's in my clothes, the dirt undisclosed. Just know for the salvation of my soul, I had to broke it at and find my way. Though I make it look cake on its face, please understand it's all mercy and grace. I'm saved. Everything begins to crumble all around me. I gotta thank God. I stand on one thing for sure. When I think about the victory, and as a black man, all that's pitted against me. Can I get an amen? Y'all, I made it to 50. And as sure as I'm standing, it's a bit of a mystery. Likewise, the way maker always with me. Like even when the situation is iffy. Like when I was in a 45 doing 60 and got stopped by the cops in rural Mississippi. See, I knew they was hunting without a bounty. The day that Wall Township threw us in the county. Asked my homie to raid for 3 days, no eat, no sleep. All I did was lift and get praise. See, I'm divided by the tension in the hood. Recurrent Willie lynching in the hood. Deterrence and dissension in the hood. But get on one accord and understand we're God's children and we good. I promise to save. I gotta think of
Hey man, this was such a dope album, and he's remixing it. He's chopping it up right now in the background. Just so I can explain, I never explained why we paired it with this. It's for this reason right there. Like, hey Jizz, first and foremost, when you see the word long finish, first and foremost, finish when you see with the wine, talk about the experience after you swallow the wine. So if it stays with you a long time, if the sensation of it stays with you a long time, then that's a long finish. So that's why, because you left enough. I love it. We pair it with songs that leave enough of the beat for the MC ain't rhyming all the way to the end. Like you leave enough of the beat for us to kind of vibe out and be in that mood with. And on top of that, you added a little bit something more. You punch with them keys on that joint, them organ or whatever the hell that is.
Yep.
It's so right at the right moment.
Yes.
At the end of the record.
Right.
So just speak on that just a little bit. Like, what made you pair? Like, what made you put them keys in it or them organ in at that time?
Well, that's alluded to Tracey, because he hit me. It was like, yo, I got an idea. Like we already the track was done. He sent the vocals, already mixed the vocals with everything. I think he sat with the track for probably like a couple of days, and then was like, yo, man, I want you to just go ahead and do what you do. I was like, what you mean? He was like, yo, I just need you to, you can play it, just play it out. We're gonna drag it out a little bit more. I was like, all right, cool. So while he was on the phone, actually, I just pulled up on the keyboard and just started playing with some melodies, and you know, like I was always I said this before that back in the day, my grandparents they used to have an old B3 organ, you know, in the crib, and all us kids used to go up and just mess with it and just play around with it and everything like that. Ain't know what we was doing, but it put me in that mindset like, yo, I don't need keys, I need a freaking organ for real. So I got an organ plug-in, man, and I just had at it. You know, I just
Wait, so you were playing that? That's you playing that? That's not Luke. That's you.
no, that's me. That's me playing. Yeah, that's me playing.
Woo!
Don't question the man.
Woo!
Yeah, I was playing it out.
Well, it's funny. So real rap, like I had no clue about the background of that, but but it made sense with the pairing because of the long finish. Like,
Right.
yo, that's dopeness right there. That's probably the wine talking too, because now I'm a little baby. But yo,
There's one more thing, you know, to go along with that. The whole end of that track is a lot of people don't know that that's Tracey on the end of that joint as his own choir. If you don't know, now you know. Yes,
let me find out Tracey got vocals.
Oh,
That's setting us up for later on. That's another put the pin in.
Oh yeah, I got questions.
Exactly.
R&B album coming soon, bruh.
Let me find out that's how he got Lori. It wasn't bars.
got me recipe stuck with this thing.
It was that do. He said no more high notes, so I see some C notes. I got you.
I hit it with the doo-wop.
Right.
Yeah, hit him with that thing. See, this is. I got bars again. Y'all ain't even keep up with. Y'all ain't even stand up with me.
Sign my man right here.
Sign me, man. That thing. The name of the song is really doo wop.
I caught it. I caught it.
Bars.
Man. So let's
That's my
get to
favorite song on the album. That's my favorite. It reminds me, whenever I hear it, I think about my old church. We used to have what they call runners.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hear that song, it makes me just want to run.
When this quarantine is over or whatever, I'm coming to your house, Lori, and we're putting this track on, and I swear, if you don't run up and down, boy.
She gonna start speaking in tongues and shouting and all of that. And if you start running around the house, I'm gonna be like, yo, let me find out. Like,
That's hilarious, man. But shoot, what we're talking about breaking COVID, and this is over. Then we'll have our freedom. And that happens to be the name of the next song.
Nice
funny
segue.
you should say that.
Nice segue.
So, again, the mental health bars. Remember the first 6 tracks, right? He was setting the frame with Dominion, right? And then he came with Glory. And then he came with Obi, like, all right, somebody done pissed me off. And then he came with the other tracks, right? The real deep thinkers, right? He came with Purge, came with Thanos, had to sit there for a minute. Then Dewey-eyed, got me all Dewey-eyed and crying and shit. I got saved. Then we got Freedom. It gives me the opportunity, again, to drink this great sparkling rosé. But it gives me the opportunity to talk about Attack as well. And the reason why I want to talk about Attack is actually just really simple. It makes sense with the word once I tell it to you. It's a wine term that's used when it's just your first impression when you first taste the wine. So for those of y'all that are drinking on this this sparkling rosé,
I'm loving this, man. I'm loving this.
I'm loving this, right? It's like the first impression of it. It reminds me of the sister that's singing on this song. Like,
it's 2
sisters.
It is.
Yep.
Well, damn.
And Zamani.
But we gotta talk about them because
McBride sisters are 2 sisters.
The McBride sisters are 2 sisters. Oh
wow!
I can't even make this up, man.
Bars.
Man. It's crazy, but it like so. I wrote down so I didn't mess it up. Like musically, it goes with it. Like she was talking about. I didn't write it down. All right, I didn't write it down. But I know the first part of this song when she's singing, when she's talking about the ocean and all that. Like It's crazy to me. Like that she should be featured. Like on the remix, you should rap in the beginning, and it should just be an R&B song, and let them sing. But that just speaks to the attack. I'm not gonna talk anymore. I'm just gonna let y'all experience the song. Hey, we talking about this thing called Freedom. Vino the Rhyme, y'all, paired with the great song Freedom. Go.
Felony is a remedy. These old days. Remember me.
Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Yeah, man. Oh, I did write it down. My nights are an ocean of emotion. High tides of intimate
Remember
world
me
and
if I fall asleep to ease the pain. Someone make it okay. Cause my nights are emotion of emotion. Are you feeling me? High tide sentiments roll me in the deep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. I beg the truth, my soul to free.
Woo. God, beautiful. Just like this wine.
Oh, jizz on the track.
I beg the truth, my soul to free.
Yo, this isolation served its purpose.
I'm gonna cop it off.
See, it allowed me to scratch the surface. So then I extended my reach with the wingspan of the Greek freak. To the extent I can be free. Use the ink pen to secrete briefs. So when I evangelize, I spit G. Treading uncharted waters gave me the vision I seek. All of this is shallow to the 6 feet deep. I'm free. Bust through the door, no need for sunscreen. I let the melanin soak up the sunbeams and cherish the elements among other things. Yet with distance and interested in what summer brings. But regardless, I'm free. The sounds for the streets, wind at my back, with the ground up under my feet. Blessings abound as long as we've been around. They have all the mystique, inherited lands and parted the seas. We free.
Space and time are the confines. Restrict the movement of my mind. I pray the Lord soul to keep. I beg the truth, my soul to free. And God protect my energy. Cause there's madness on my corner of I pray the Lord soul to keep. I beg the truth, my soul to free.
Say their names, say their names. It's liberation rap now. Ain't no turning back now. We ain't playing games. Break the chains, break the chains. Emancipated strap now. No, we ain't gon' back down. We are not the same. I feel a different kind of energy. Seeking freedom of assembly. The need of allegiance and the empathy. The litany of love that is undermining the enemy. We free. Now I ain't talking freedom in doses. I'm made in the vein of Black Moses. Voices of Kirk and Paul Robes. Courage and preserving the self. Mental health, generational wealth. When I'm silent, my maneuvers are stealth. Self-reliant, never ask for their help. They just need to see the freedom we see. That we just need the freedom to be free.
Space and time are the confines. Restrict the movement of my mind. I pray the Lord soul to keep. I beg the truth, my soul to free. And God protect my energy. Cause there's malice on my corner of every pray the Lord soul to keep. I beg the truth, my soul to free. Space and time are the confines. Restrict the movement of my mind. Not defined by our limitations, but the means we use to eliminate them. And I protect my energy, cause there's malice on the corner of every street. Lurking in the shadows of the poplar tree. Winning this fight is bittersweet.
Yeah, man. I don't even know what to say after that. We just go to the next song if y'all want. The song says it all itself, man. For sure.
It's definitely like I think okay, so I got all of the songs in categories, of course, because me and Jizz been living with it longer than everybody else. If we were on a major label, you know what I'm saying? This would be the song that would be the Grammy nominated, like the big, like I heard it over the airwaves. This cat that played it over in the UK a couple of days ago, he played it on the radio. This thing sounds immaculate over the airwaves. Like it just sounds like it just sounds full. It sounds like a song. Like and just because of the message that's being conveyed in the lyrics and the track. I mean, it's just a big song. Man.
It is, man. Yeah, respect to y'all on playing that, John, man. Woo! Yeah, like I said, appreciate you making that song, man. We need that. There's liberation rap, man, for sure.
Liberation.
So
y'all ready to party a little bit? We still on this, right? We still on this?
Nah, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna throw you a curveball.
Okay.
Curveball.
Doesn't matter at this point.
Woo! You ain't got no more of the other stuff left? Is that what the? Is that
No,
what?
we got
we got plenty.
Well, that's funny you say that. Like that's the perfect segue into the next song, song 10. We good. So you go from like the darkness, and then you get to like all right, we saved. Woo! We got our freedom, and it's like it's love. You know what? We good. We good. We going back to the very good wine, by the way. Going back to that rosé. Had to pair with that, because it's good. Had to pair with that.
Some of us call this the MVP.
I'm breathing. The greed up. 2 all-wheel blue and cream SUV'd up. No worries at all. Cause for the Chivas. Churchill cigars, Audemars with the feet up. Bruh. For all them times I done dodged the reaper. All in all, life is beautiful like Lupita. Trapped in as the world stopped. But I ain't pressed. We in the crib stacking bench watching Black AF. After I was on the throttle with Skype. Homeschooling. Bottles of Moscato for wife. Slow grooving. I'm down in the basement. Spinning that soul music. Chasing innovation. Feeling it pro tooling. I smash in the making. The gas I've been saving. I reallocated that cash for landscaping. On just about an acreage. This is how I thrive in insanity. By spending more time with the family. We good. Appreciate the calls and the texts. I'm bad if I ain't hit you back yet, but listen, we good. Survival is the crux of the hood. So look, if you grew up in the hood, trust me, we good. In light of what we dealing with, yes, we all been under some amount of stress, but homie, we good. If I can kiss my kids, I'm cool. Living in the fridge on full, trust me, we good. In fact, I'm at an all-time high. Many don't want to spar, and I see why. If you dissect the bars, you see the boys that fly. That's a vinyl, had your mama saying my. Like Johnny in the 90s, but we gon' let it slide while I watch Beanie and Bounty on my IG live. This is nothing. I grew up on canned meats and mustard. Blackouts in a blizzard, my hitter, we just adjusted. Back to business, all the wishes of the far right. But don't fall for that banana in the tailpipe. Telework safeguard the treasury. Accessories delivered via by black directories. Get the best of me now, built for this marathon. Goodwill, cooked meals, hoop drills, and Peloton. This is how we vibe in insanity. By spending more time with the family, understand me, we good. Appreciate the calls and the texts. I'm bad if I ain't hit you back yet, but listen, we good. Survival is the crux of the hood. So look, if you grew up in the hood, trust me, we good. In light of what we dealing with, yes, we all been under some amount of stress, but homie, we good. If I can kiss my kids, I'm cool. Living in the fridge on full, trust me, we good.
Beautiful song, man. Beautiful song.
Y'all good.
You're good. Man, we all good in the moment.
We all good.
I don't want to shortchange y'all. We got two songs left. We running a little bit over time. I don't want to shortchange y'all though.
Don't nobody got to be in, bro.
You sure y'all good? If y'all good, we keep going. But yeah, man. The reason, real quick, I mean, since this is supposed to be a wine education, let's talk about Fruit Forward for a second. And so the reason why we chose that was just because, quite frankly, the overall aromas of this wine, and just the overall wine, we obviously is good. I mean, it was literally like when we were drinking the wine, it was like this is some good ass wine. It is some good. And Fruit Forward basically means that the impression that it makes. Remember I talked about the attack a while ago? Like that's one of the things, the fruitiness. And fruit is different than sweetness. A lot of times people think, oh, I want a sweet wine. It's actually because it's fruity, and the fruit is different than sweetness. And so we chose it because it's a good ass wine, man. Fruit Forward really talks about the aroma and the taste of it. And so in this case, the aroma is a little bit more pronounced than anything else in here, and that's what makes it good. If we want to go to the next song, I'll say this. What?
Oh, sorry.
What he do? What he do?
I don't know.
Nice. Denise is talking about Jesus turned water into wine.
Is that my niecey?
Yeah, that's niece. Yeah.
Glory.
My bad.
Oh man.
Everybody rejoice.
OG.